Well, I just wonder, guys, what seemed to happen to both the Orange football team and also the Bills? What'd they do? I mean, it was Veterans Day weekend. The weekend we honor everybody who's ever served in the U.S. Armed Forces. We thank them for their service. And that's what I do want to do. Thank everybody through history who has served in the United States military. Thank you for your service. But we're the Bills and the Orange football team thanking them too much. Especially the Orange defense in the second half against Wake Forest. What'd they do? Stop off for a coffee and a Danish? Oh boy. Because I figured it was going to be an offensive shootout. And for a while it looked as though the Orange seemed to be turning the corner. Especially in the first half. Putting 38 points on the board in the first half. I thought, okay, we're well on our way. We're getting ready to win this game and maybe be in position for maybe one more to go bowling. But you know what? That thing just seemed to run out because now there's no wiggle room. We only scored 5 points in the second half. 5 points. Area where, the second half is usually when the Orange hits their stride in a game. But no, it was Wake Forest who hit their stride, because again, it seemed as though, hey, the defensive coordinators Dino Babers has apparently can't call a defense. They let Wake Forest put 40 points on the board in the second half. And you know what? That doesn't bode well for the rest of the season. But letting Wake Forest score 64 points? Come on, guys. And we've got Louisville coming up this Saturday. And the guy who last year won the Heisman Trophy and last year in the Dome put 62 points on the board and over 800 yards of offense against the Syracuse defense. Was it a defense or was it a sieve? Because that's exactly what it seemed against Wake Forest. And if they couldn't stop Wolford in the Wake Forest defense, I wonder what they can do against Jackson. Because now there's no more wiggle room, guys. This same team who beat Clemson now has to win both of their last games to qualify for a bowl. And you know what? It just seems as though it's same shit, different year. SSDY. You know what? We get our hopes up, especially when we thought the Orange was playing better, and then they lay an egg. And speaking of laying eggs, what did the Bills do against the Saints? It seemed as though they were playing when the Saints go marching in, when Drew Brees and company came to Orchard Park. That was one of the worst things I had seen in recent memory. And I should say this past weekend, I felt like I was transported back to 1984 in more ways than one. I'll explain. It's Veterans Day weekend, and Casey Kasem's countdown that they air, the old one, went back to this week in 84. And it had a great song concerning Veterans Day, Walking on a Thin Line by Huey Lewis and the News, which told about a Vietnam vet suffering from PTSD. But you know what? It was vintage 1984 concerning how the Bills played against the Saints. The Bills were awful in 1984. I should remember because I remember them losing their first 11 games before they won one. And it seemed as though they decided to repeat that playbook against Drew Brees, because the Saints did go marching in, putting 47 points on the board, running for nearly 300 yards. I repeat, running for almost 300 yards. I just wonder what the Bills' defensive coordinator do. It seemed as though Rex Ryan, the biggest buffoon to coach the Bills, seemed to be coaching them again. instead of the no-nonsense Sean McDermott. I think this proved something. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, especially with some big opponents coming down the pike. It's the Chargers and Chiefs. Then 4 of their last 5 games are against divisional opponents, i.e. New England and Miami. It was a terrible weekend to be a football fan of both the Orange and the Bills. Let's hope this week is better. But I do have some good news about the Orange. They did tip off against Cornell, the basketball team did, and had a pretty nice win against the Big Red. But what else was nice? Watching Jimmy Boeheim play for the Big Red. Yeah, I mean, I wanted the Orange to win, don't get me wrong. But it was nice that Jimmy Boeheim, in his debut playing for Cornell, had a nice game, 11 points. But you know, that's all I was glad about. Nice win to start the basketball season. And tonight we got Iona. And and Saturday, Texas Southern. And Monday, it'll be the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. We're gonna start kicking it into high gear for the basketball team. Nice job. The thing is, I do have a couple of big concerns about things. One, especially, it seems as though every 15 seconds there seems to be a new sexual harassment claim by somebody famous or something. This whole thing with Harvey Weinstein either opened up the Pandora's box or it's going to cause people to come out of the woodwork to make accusations. And it seemed as though once that one starts making an accusation, people start piling on. Are these true, or are these just people looking for a publicity or looking to ruin somebody for no reason? I mean, I'm not saying that, a lot of these are false, but I mean, let's just face it. This is an epidemic, and it does need to stop. It is one of the worst things that can happen. But I kind of wonder, is it true, or is it Memorex? We'll see. And last but not least, some pretty good races were decided last week on Election Day, including Barry Porsche returning as our district attorney. But hopefully, Porsche won't hire that Dallas assistant district attorney who got herself fired for attacking an Uber driver. You know what? If you get a ride and of course you're inebriated, it's a good thing. It can save your life, save you from a DWI. But don't hit the guy with a phone. That's all I have time for this week. I'm Ken Haas, and those are my views.